What is up, Packers fans? Welcome back to the Daily Draft. We are brought to you by Brewski Light Lager from Badger State Brewing, coming to you here on a Friday, NFL Combine Friday, talking about Cody Lindenberg from the University of Minnesota. Cody, a linebacker, and a guy that I keep watching, keep checking out because I think he can make it as a starter in this league, and we'll get there at the end. But I wanted to talk about some Cody Lindenberg with you now. Pros. Ideal frame for the modern NFL. He's a shade over 6'2", and he is 239 pounds with 33-inch arms. He has good size for the position. He is an explosive football player. I'm excited to see how he measures out, especially in the 10-yard split and the 40 and the vertical jump. I'm excited to see how those explosives are sort of confirmed by actual numbers, and that's what the combine is all about, right? Is confirming things that you thought you saw on the tape. He's a quick processor. I think he works really well through the run game. I think he recognizes play action well, but he understands zone schemes. He understands pulling guards. He understands what you're trying to do when you're trying to run the football, but he does not get sucked in too deep too often and leave that kind of area that the Packers struggled with so much last year, where you're popping it over the linebackers and in front of the safeties into these wide open areas. I've been kind of paying attention to that with the linebackers that I've watched for this year's class. I think he's capable in coverage. I'm just going to use the word capable. He's got good zone awareness. NFL passer ratings against the last two seasons are both under 86, and a lot of the times with linebackers they're higher than that because a lot of the times they're charged with like little routes to the running backs that have 100% completion, not 100, but like 85, 90% completion percentage. So that's going against them. You miss a tackle, all of a sudden you gave up, one layup completion for 17 yards, and your passer rating against looks like trash. Sometimes you got to carry a good tight end down the field. It's not a position that leads itself to a lot of interceptions, not a position that leads itself to a lot of pass breakups. It's tough. And so that 86 passer rating against in the last two seasons is pretty good. Clean football player while still being aggressive. He's got one penalty his entire college career. And he played a lot of football for the Gophers. So one penalty called against him. I think he's passable as a blitzer. He's certainly not right like in Edgerrin Cooper's realm, but he is passable as a blitzer when he's asked to go towards the quarterback. Most of what I would want Cody Lindenberg to do would be heading towards the quarterback, towards the line of scrimmage. I don't know how much of a space player he is. That'll be recognized here in his grade. But hey, you need those guys to stop the run and affect the quarterback as well. I think he's a green dot candidate, very well thought of as a communicator. It's tough to always know, when you're watching film. But speaking to people that know a lot about the Gophers, speaking to people that know stuff about Cody Lindenberg, just kind of offhandedly, seems to be a great communicator. Is in a lot of his other scouting reports that I've read. He's a green dot candidate. I think a true Mike candidate. And you could be 6'2" and some change, 240 at the Mike now in the NFL. That's certainly big enough. He had an excellent week at the Senior Bowl, and that's we talk about a Packers fit thing, right? That's a Packers fit thing. When you have a good Senior Bowl week, the Packers usually perk up their ears a little bit. It's been good for them in the past, not worked out at other times, but that is genuinely, generally, something that the Packers really do pay attention to, and they appreciate. And just in general, he's a high-level run defender. I know it's a passing league. I know how much I would love for the Packers to have better coverage linebackers. I think Brian talked about, coverage linebackers, but then all of a sudden, your primary linebacker gets hurt, and your coverage linebackers in there trying to defend the run, and it's not working out, and all those things. But I do think that Cody Lindenberg defends the run at a very, very high level. I think he's got a chance to be an every down player. Guys, buy the Green Bay draft guide. Buy it. Promo code daily, $1 off. Link should be below. Talked to Andy Herman about it on his radio show this morning. We do such a good job, I think, of really like taking this group of 400 players that could be drafted or signed as UDFAs and bringing them down to like 100 or 120 guys that you really need to learn. And look, man, if you're a draft junkie, you can read about all of them, but we're really gonna really going to try and knock it down into the 100 or 120 guys that the Packers are actually looking at. And you go back and look at our tier 1 and 2 fits, it's 70+% of their draft classes, right? And you look at their top 100 picks, it's much closer to 80% of who they take is where they really like to stick within their kind of philosophies. And sometimes it frustrates people, that's bigger, stronger, faster. But sometimes it's also productive. Like they're huge on wide receiver productivity in college. All that and more. 7-round Packers mock draft, my Packers specific big board, feature stories. I mean, everything right there in the Green Bay draft guide. Buy it. Cons on Cody Lindenberg. Probably won't be an elite pass defender at the next level. You're praying for above average. That's why I used the word capable when I was talking about his pass coverage. I don't think he's going to be, some amazing pass defender at the next level. But if you can get slightly above average with his ability to defend the run, you have an NFL starter. You actually probably have a good NFL starter. If not, though, that's the next thing in the cons is he a 2-down linebacker? If he's a 2-down linebacker, what is it worth to you? He is a physical football player, but in no way an elite tackler, which I think is odd. He has a missed tackle rate above 13% in each of his last 3 seasons, and his missed tackle rate in 2023 was 25%. No question. Effort-wise with taking on blocks, I just like to see him more technically proficient taking on blocks, especially in the stack and shed game, instead of just sort of flying around and ramming into people, which is what I see a lot of on film. Occasionally overruns plays. Like he's super aggressive, which you like in a linebacker, but it frustrates people when you run yourself out of the play, right? The Devontae Wyatt pass rush game, right? It frustrates people when you run yourself out of the play. Guys, there's going to be so much cool stuff going on at Badger State Brewing draft weekend. I'll be around. They got food trucks. They have an old-fashioned station, which is going to be really cool and very Wisconsin-y, and super cool for a brewery who doesn't, make that liquor to welcome that in. There's going to be awesome Wisconsin food. I think it's like April 22nd through the 27th that there's really cool stuff going on at Badger State Brewing. Go check it out. Packers fit for Cody Lindenberg. I think he's potentially ideal for them as a steady communicator and a good player next to freak shows Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker. I think even though I would play him at the mic, and maybe this isn't something Hafley's comfortable with, I think you could play Cody Lindenberg inside, and if you really want to, your 2 nickel linebackers could still be Quay and Edge. I know one of them would take on the mic responsibilities. You certainly wouldn't give Lindenberg the green dot at that point, but I think you could have that sort of be your base would be Quay on the strong side, Edgerrin Cooper on the weak, and Cody Lindenberg in the middle. Upper Midwest program, they've taken Gophers before, although they might specifically be annoyed with Gopher linebackers after their Kamal Martin and Devondre Campbell experiences. And what I'll say about like the linebacker position specifically, they took Quay, super alien, 9+ RAS score, all that. But it's certainly a position where they've strayed from the crazy athletes in the past. Tyron Hopper is a 7.4 RAS guy, meaning he's a 74th percentile athlete. Blake Martinez was a 6.42 RAS guy. Desmond Bishop was a 5.82. You get what I'm saying. They will take slightly above athletes at linebacker if they like other aspects of the way they play. Plus, linebacker is not a premium position, even though they burned that one on Quay. I just talked about Blake Martinez. He was a round 4 guy. Desmond Bishop was a round 5 or 6 guy. Tyron Hopper was probably an overdraft in round 3. You kind of got to slide that, right? You got to slide that scale in that, I think Quay is the first only linebacker they've taken in I don't know how long in round 1, and it hasn't worked out. I mean, he's producing like a 3rd or a 4th rounder, but that's kind of the point. That's sort of the point that I was making when I ranked him like 108th overall in that class. But this is not a Quay Walker show, podcast, video. It's a Cody Lindenberg video. And overall, Cody Lindenberg has a round 4 grade for me, which means I think he's a really solid backup that could be an NFL starter. He is my 128th player overall, and I'm super, super excited to see him test. Guys, got a lot going on today, so we're going to keep this short and sweet. Drink Badger State beer. Buy the Green Bay Draft Guide and subscribe to this YouTube channel or podcast feed. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Go Pack Go.